Hello there, today we're going to learn about MySQL data type. So each data in MySQL has a type depending upon its purpose. For the math function, the numeric data type is used. If the requirement is to store the text, then data type would be text or string. Choosing a precise data type will restrict data based from unwanted memory storage into the database, and data retrieve would be faster. Accurate data type assignment would be a good habit while designing database model and table. So let's talk about MySQL data types. First is numeric. Second is string and text, third is date and time, then fourth is blob, fifth is boolean, and sixth is JSON. If you're new to the channel, would like to know more about MySQL, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon for the notification. So let's get started. So integer is a part of the numeric data type. So integer is the simplest data type in the MySQL, used to store the whole number without decimal point. For example, 2, 5, 10, 15. In the integer, there is a different type of integers are there. One is a tiny int, small int, medium int, and big int. And you could see the storage type, 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, 4 byte, and 8 byte. And there is a signed and unsigned value. So this unsigned can store only 0 and positive. So you could see unsigned is 0 and positive. But signed, it could store 0, negative, and positive. In the unsigned, you could see like you can store the human being, the age. Basically, it can't be negative, right? So it should be always positive. So if you know something, some data type which is always positive, you can define on that way. In MySQL int with a ZEROFILL attribute. If you need to replace spaces with 0, you can use the ZEROFILL attribute for the MySQL int, an unsigned column. For example, for the int 3, ZEROFILL could be the value of 1, the result to retrieve will be 001. So if it's defined as a 1, so it will in the output it will display as 001. So if it's int 4 and the value is 1, it should be 0001. So let's see in practically how does this ZEROFILL work. So come to the MySQL workbench, and I'm gonna use this math. So under e-commerce database, and table name is math. So if you want to see the structure of the table, you can click on this icon here, or you can do the describe. So you could see these are the columns are there. So I like to add one more column, have the ZEROFILL value. Either you can add column here directly in the MySQL workbench, or we can write a query to add the column. So let me write a query. So alter table math add column. So I'm going to add a column called grade. I will give int 3 ZEROFILL. So also here in the math, if you want to add this column with a particular column, so if you want to do after F1, you can do it after F2 or after D1 or D2. So you can define that. So I'll do after F2. So now if to execute is a command enter. So now if I go to here and one more time if I do it, you could see the grade has been added here. Grade is added and the data type also there. So you could see grade INT-3, and you could see the ZEROFILL which is here and a tick mark, and you could see here also if I select this one, you could see here ZEROFILL is selected. That's good. So let's do select start from math. So do the grade that there is no value. Okay, so I want to update table, update math, then set grade equals to 2 where id equals to 1. So I'm just adding 2, but it will store here value as 002. It's called ZEROFILL. So now if I execute this, so now if I do select start from math, so now you could see here is 002 where I gave the 2, but it's added 20. Why? Because if you go to the math table, it's defined here as a 3. That's why it's showing as 002. Let's move to the fixed point, which is the decimal. So decimal is there is two value. One is a P and the S. P is nothing but it's called precision, and S is the scale. P is a number of digit will store, and the position of the decimal point for this. If it's S, scale. So for example, If the decimal 9,2 is total 9 digit, but you could see here the decimal point 2 digit. So if it for decimal 10,0, it will store 10 digit here in the precision, and the scale is nothing because it is 0. So that's how it's a decimal point has need to be defined in a database. So next is the floating point type. So floating point type, there is a two type. One is a float, one is a double. Float is basically a precision of 0 to 23 results 4 byte single precision data, and float is a single precision number, and double is a 8 byte and is a double precision number. Float never store a precise value. In decimal, always it will store the precise value, but in float, it will not store the precise value. So generally, float value are good for scientific calculation, but it should not be used in financial or monetary values. For business-oriented math, always use the decimal. So let's see an example why you should not use float for a monetary or any financial or math oriented. How is the difference than decimal? So let's see in the practical. So come to the MySQL workbench. So we're going to use the same table. Here you could see the D1, D2. So if you go to the column again, so D1, D2 are the decimal, and you could see is a 2, 10,2, 10,2, and the F1, F2 are the float. Okay, if you could see here, so D1, D2 is 0.20, 0.30, float is 0.2 and 0.3. It's pretty much 0.50 and 0.5. It's pretty much same value. So now if I do select D1 plus D2, comma F1 plus F2 from math. So if I execute this, you could see the difference. So here D1, D2, it's a so if you like to see there is an interesting thing we could see here. So if I do select D1 plus D2 equal to 0.5 from math, it will give 1, means it's true. So if I execute this, you could see here is 1, which is true. Now if I change to F1 instead of D1, if I change to F1 plus F2, so it will give 0, means it's false, it's not 0.5. So again, because if you see now here, it will keep if someone is trying to pay a bill or monetary 0.20, 0.30, it's pretty easy to calculate, it's precise. But if it's floating, it's not precise. So that's why if anything is monetary or math, always use the decimal. If it is scientific, then use the float. If this video is useful to you, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Namaste.